Hello, this is Diane Cunningham, and welcome to my first and only episode of Topics on Exercise Physiology. In this video, I will talk about my experience with the Cooper Run test and show the assignments and readings that helped me understand what VO2 max is and why it is important. According to Marcos Martin Rincon and his research associate, VO2 max is a term interchangeable with cardiorespiratory fitness. In fact, it is the gold standard for the assessment of cardiovascular fitness, or the health of our heart and lungs. VO2 max results can be obtained through various fitness tests such as running, walking, and cycling. The VO2 max results obtained are later analyzed as measurements of how fast our bodies can transport and utilize oxygen. A high percentage VO2 value is a good sign of cardiorespiratory health. However, a low VO2 max percentage value is associated with heart disease. To determine my VO2 max percentage results, I decided to participate in a Cooper Run test, which was developed by Dr. Kenneth Cooper in 1968. It is also otherwise known as a 12-minute run test. The Cooper Run test is a fitness assessment that uses the distance traveled in under 12 minutes as a method to calculate VO2 max results. This test is still one of the basic fitness assessments used by the military and other instructors such as coaches and trainers. Okay, here is how I started the Cooper Run test. First, I did the recommended 10 to 15 minute warm-up. I live the 15 to 20 minutes away from the nearest gym, so I walked to my gym as part of the warm-up. Once I got to the gym, I used a treadmill for this evaluation, so that I would include that as part of my equipment. And in the treadmill, I set the timer to 12 minutes, and then the cool down would start after the 12 minutes. And I set the incline to 1 degree to simulate outdoor running. Okay, I did not need to go to my doctor to do this evaluation, so I was good on safety. Then once I got on the treadmill, I started off like with the jogging pace of 4.4, 4.5. And then eventually, once I got to what I felt was running at a 5.1 is where I stopped. And I just decided to stay at that pace for my first time doing this test, just because I hadn't been running before. And that's where I didn't do so well the first time. Eventually, I was able to put in some practice and get to the 6 miles per hour speed, and that's where I improved my score by a lot. I took the Cooper test a total of 3 times, but I only included the first and final trial as a part of my data and made the second trial just a practice trial, a fun trial. On the bottom, I have the layout where I insert my personal information on the left side, such as my sex, my age, the distance I traveled, and the test I was participating in. And on the right, I obtained values for measurable results via this aerobic fitness test. On my first attempt, I got a VO2 max score of 21.446%, which is considered a poor rating. And on my final, or third attempt, I was able to increase the distance traveled in the 12-minute run to 1.4 miles and got a higher VO2 max score of 39.071%, which placed me at a good rating. After my first attempt at the 12-minute run fitness test, or Cooper Run test, I was very disappointed with my first result. I was initially cocky and assumed I would do very well, something like 1.4 or 1.5 miles underneath the 12 minutes. But being in that moment, it was just very overwhelming. Like I couldn't get past 5.5. The second day, I began at a 5.4 and slowly throughout the 12 minutes increased my my speed by zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.4 points until I ended with a 5.8. On the third day, which is the day I decided to make my final Cooper run test, I started off with a 5.5 and then within the first 3 minutes just increased my speed all the way to a 6.0, focused on making sure that I met the amount of miles or meters required to assess my cardiovascular health. In this table provided by the Cooper Run Test website called Very Well Fit, I was able to measure the amount of miles I needed to qualify for the average position. Although I achieved the results I wanted in the Cooper Run Test, I realized in this lab that there's always room for improvement. However, the most important aspect of being able to improve is to believe in yourself. Because just a little bit more of speed can feel like hell as you continue waiting for a 12-minute timer to end. So, what I did while trying to improve my speed in those 3 days was focus on a self-help method I would call named Tiny Habits, which was created by a doctor named BJ Fogg. And the whole idea is to be positive with every small change you make. So I was making small increments in my speed, and I was encouraging myself throughout that time. Just trying to say, see, you did it. Maybe you won't get to maybe I wouldn't get to my requirement to be in the average score, but at least I was able to increase my speed and just focusing on that and making that my focus next time I practiced. And so on the third day, with the idea in mind that, last time I was able to increase my speed, so maybe I'll be able to even just a little bit today. And just continuing that thought process and that thought feeling as the small habit is what helped me get to my required speed at 6 miles per hour and essentially my average VO2 max um, health results. Here's a picture of that book I used that is relevant in my overall exercise experience. This book incorporated with the Ron Cooper test and the topics associated, like VO2 max, really helped me understand more about exercise physiology and why certain assessments like that are made. For instance, before I would hear the VO2 max term, but I wouldn't understand what to correlate it to. I know there was oxygen involved, but other than that, I didn't understand how to obtain that measurement and what it related to. And now I do. I know that it's relevant to aerobic fitness and that it's just used to measure how well our body transports oxygen and how well we use it. I feel like I can apply this concept to various aspects of my health and fitness goals, such as wanting to lose weight in the future. It'd be more beneficial for me to do moderate levels of exercise activity and to just focus on increasing my VO2 max scores, and I could do that with activities like the Cooper run test.